Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are, whenever you're watching this. This is Floating in Dreams. Today's video is going to be about the singles that I used in May and what I will be selecting for using in June. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for being here. I am going to be doing a video that I decided I could turn into a series rather than lumping it in with my Shop My Stash, which is to show you which single shadows I used and the looks that I did with those in the previous month, and then also show you what I will be using in the new month. So you can expect this video coming from me once a month, and in case you're unfamiliar with what my content is all about, then hi, my name is Maaike. I live in the Netherlands. I love coming on here to chat about eyeshadow, to also do some reviews on Essence and Catrice products from time to time, and getting the use out of my makeup. And because I have a snow angel complexion, meaning I have a fair skin tone with a cool to neutral undertone, I tend to like other things. And in May, that meant I selected a bunch of cream shadows. And because I was like, I wanna get more use also out of some of my cream single shadows. But today for June, we are going to be building ourselves a mini palette for June, because there are a couple of multichromes that, now that I have swatched my multichrome palette for you, that I definitely was like, I'm itching to get to those. So we are going to go through some of my singles towards the end of the video to show you what I'm selecting for June. But first, I'm going to be reviewing the products I used. Some of these I had used before, others were quite new to me, and one of the shades that is featured in the May selection is currently on my face. So let's get to these singles. My first selection for May was the two ColourPop Super Shocks that I like using interchangeably or by itself, especially when I'm traveling. The Super Shock in Ritz and So Quiche, I think, are two shades that work really well on its own, but can also work wonderfully together. So I definitely did like 2 or 3 different looks with these, where I think I did a look just with Ritz, and then I also did a look where I combined the two so that you can see what difference it makes. Because Ritz by itself, it does have a little bit of a beigey base to it, but it really can work as a topper as well, because it does have a lot of iridescent sparkle. And my Ritz has pan. That's how much I've used it, and I've expanded the pan definitely a little bit this month. So in case you're unfamiliar with Ritz, it's a really pretty nudie beige with a lot of like cool tone sparkle to it. It's not necessarily full on silver, it just has a very good neutral shade. It's very much like my skin but better, and then when you tap it onto the eye, it looks very much like glass skin, so it looks very dewy, very pretty, very natural. Whenever I travel, I like to take this with me because I can just rub it all over my lid, put on some mascara, and then I usually leave my bottom lashes bare, just to really put all the emphasis on my top lid, and that's how I love wearing this. So it's a very quick, easy to do makeup look. But I love pairing it with So Quiche. The lettering on mine has completely worn off. And So Quiche is a shade that they brought back, so I think you can get it again. I bought a backup of this. I also have a backup of Ritz, because this is a great one and done shadow. It is deeper in color than Ritz's, as you'll see in the swatch. This is like a taupey base, and then it has like greeny, purple, pink sort of, it's not quite duochrome, but it definitely has a bit of something else to it. And that's what makes it super wearable. You can sheer this out to really like be that one and done eyeshadow. You can also build this up to create a smokier look. I love topping it with Ritz, as I already said, and this also works really well smudged along the lower lash line. So very often what I will do if I pair these together is that I put Ritz on my top lid, and then I use this as a bit of liner, and I use it on my bottom lash line, and that way I have a very easy to do eye look with a bit more definition if I were to just use Ritz. But yeah, So Quiche is a great one. I also really like this underneath Ritz, as I already mentioned. So I love doing this as like a one and done, and then tapping Ritz on top of it, and then wrapping it around my inner corner for some extra sparkle and interest. So I love how with just these two cream shadows, I'm always able to create very dimensional different looks that look different between day to day. And when I'm traveling, I'd rather use something like this than like packing a full-on palette where, you know, am I going to have good lighting? I don't know. Do I want to spend time on my trip washing brushes? Probably not. These I can apply with fingers, and it's pretty much foolproof every time. So that's why I love these. So that was combo number 1. But I used another combo, and this is a combo that I discovered a little bit later. I started using this combo a lot in the fall time, and I was like, I never showed you guys this. I've discussed it, I've talked about it, but I haven't showed you what it actually looked like. And it's the combination of an H&M cream eyeshadow in the shade Dauphine Truffle. This is quite possible one of the most stunning taupey satiny kind of shades. It's not fully matte. It has some iridescence to it, but it's not full on sparkle either. So it's great for a base layer, and we all know how much I love taupe, and this is a great one. But by itself, I mean, if you love this more like satiny look, you can definitely wear it as a one and done eyeshadow. In that way, it's quite similar to Quiche in terms of shade. However, I prefer So Quiche as a one and done because that just has a bit more interest to it. And when I blend that one out, I feel it creates more dimension than this. This looks a little flat to me. However, if you love matte shadows, and I'm sure you'll love this too. So what I have been doing to create some more interest to that shade is to add ColourPop's Super Shock in Frog on top. And this is what Frog looks like. Oh, there it catches the light so you can see a little bit. I hope the swatch does it justice. Frog is like Ritz, a very light, sparkly cream shadow shade, but this is best used as a topper. I'm wearing it in my inner corners today, but this is just a great little eyeshadow that's going to do so much because you can top this over almost everything. Yeah, topped over the H&M cream shadow, it really gives a bit more dimension to that look, and this is also best used if there is a little bit more of a base to it, I find. By itself, I find it a little lackluster. You can definitely, like Ritz, like create this like glass skin kind of look with this, but I prefer Ritz for that because it's closer to my skin tone. This definitely has a hint of blue to it, which is really pretty as a topper, I find, but I find it less successful when I use it as on its own. So this was another combo that I wanted to show you. I was so happy I was able to use this again, but I have now found that this shade, this is going to be like one of my like ultimate favorite cream shadows because I also paired it with this. And this may look very similar to what I've got going on here, but this is the Holika. Does this have a name? It's a cream shadow. It's in the name Moonflash. That's the shade name, and I'm gonna have to be very careful with this because it's quite messy. But this is like the amped up version of Ritz. It's got a little bit more base to it, but once you apply it to the eyes, it's a stunning formula. It's not quite a pressed glitter, even though it looks like it in the pan. It just gives a really beautiful wet sheen. And I actually had a party to go to in May, and then I put this all over my lid before that I laid down a layer of the H&M just to give it a little bit more like of a base to ground it a little bit. And then I topped this over it. And what I love about this, and you may not expect this, but this kind of transfers. So if you put this just on your actual mobile lid, it will sort of stamp itself onto the your eyelid above it, which if you have hooded eyes or deep set eyes like I do, that's a struggle you're familiar with some eyeshadow perhaps, or with your like eyeliner. This is why I don't use liquid liner all that often, because it like will stamp my like right beneath my brow bone. It's very, very frustrating. But with this, it actually makes the looks look prettier. So as I mentioned, I wore this to a party, I danced, I was sweating, and that usually makes your makeup smudge a little bit. But with this, the longer the night wore on, the prettier it looked. Like it's one of those shades that really needs a minute to just melt into your skin. And then once it is all blended, it looks absolutely stunning. And it just looked prettier and sparklier by the minute. I didn't want to take it off at the end of the night, but yeah, I had to because I don't sleep with my makeup on. So yeah, the Holika eyeshadow was very, very pretty indeed, and again, one I'm very happy to own. Then another combination that I liked more than I thought I was going to. I was a bit disappointed with both of my Charlotte Tilbury cream shadows when I first started playing around with these. So I have the Eyes to Mesmerize in the shade Pillow Talk here, And I was hoping that this could be like a bit like a Super Shock where there was a bit more sparkle to it. However, this is more like the H&M cream shadow where it's more of a satin kind of finish. So this doesn't have a lot of actual sparkle to it. So it looks matte when you blend it out. And this kind of shade on me, matte, I was like, no, I don't think I like that. But then I was like, okay, I have the other one. So this is one of the jewel pots. The packaging is stunning. It's in the shade Walk of No Shame. And it's this really pretty like rose gold peachy sort of more sparkly shade. These are very sheer, so that's something you should be aware of when you buy these. I know that a lot of people are disappointed with especially the jewel pots because they're just iridescent sparkle, really, without it being an actual glitter. Like, you don't get glitter from this. But then I decided to pair these together, and it's a bit like the more warm tone version of the H&M Shadow with Frog. Like, it's that. It's more rosy, peachy rose gold, and I used to love, like a couple of years ago, if you watch my eyeshadow palette collection from like 2018, I believe I mentioned how much I love rose gold eyeshadow, and I used to love rose gold on me. And this is like the perfect rose gold combo, and it sort of reignited my love for everything rose gold. So I may want to go back to this. I didn't find Pillow Talk to be as warm toned as it looked in the pan. I felt it looked like a really nice, more like pinky brown neutrally shade, a little bit differently from something as cool toned as the taupey shade from H&M. So it makes for a really good base, and I now can't wait to use this more and see how it works when I top over some of the topper shades that I have from ColourPop. And I think it will also be really pretty with the Holika Holika. So yeah, this was a combination that I was a bit curious after because I wasn't sure how it was gonna go. But when I put them together, I thought the look would look really pretty. And this shade, the Pillow Talk shade, blended out on me so nicely that in some of the pictures I took, it looks like I'm wearing barely anything, but in real life, you could definitely see it a bit better. Very often pictures will just skew it a little bit. And then finally we get to what's on my eyes today, and it's this liquid eyeshadow from Giorgio Armani. It's in shade 37. I believe it's called Emerald, but as you can see, it looks like a dark green in the tube, but when I blend it out, do you see how much blue this has? So guess what shade this is? It's a teal. It's a teal cream eyeshadow, and I don't know about you, but navy and teal smoky eyes are just, I think, really lovely. I really had to like, it was a struggle. Like, I had this itch to put Frog all over my lid because I like there to be shimmer on my lid. But I was like, no, you're gonna commit. You're going to wear this just full on smoky eye, matte. Like, it does have a bit of a sheen in the packaging, but I feel that it doesn't really translate once you start blending it. And this is a shade that I did like have to figure out how to use it. So I first put something on the back of my hand. It stains really badly. I'm not sure if you can see, but I first put it on the back of my hand today to see if I could apply it with a finger, but then I feel it shears out too easily, and because this dries down quite quickly and quite matte, you don't have a lot of play time with it. So it's best to just dot it onto your eye directly from the doe foot, and then to use a brush and sort of like swirl it around, because then you get this, and then you get this really nice smoky blended look. I didn't achieve the same vibe exactly on this eye because this was the experimental eye when I was starting to use it. But yeah, it works really well. You can build it up. I smudge it along the lower lash line with a narrow brush. Worked really well too. And then just because my fingers and the fluffy brush I was using to blend it out didn't really get to my like lashes on my top lid, I decided to also use that denser brush that I used on the lower lash line to just smudge it a little bit more along the top lash line as well. And that way we have a lovely overall smoky eye, I feel. And then I just went with a deeper neutrally lip because I felt that that would work better. So yeah, those were the things I was using in May. Overall, great success. I would go back to all of these. These are some lovely products from the more luxury options, but also the drugstore things. I mean, that H&M shadow deserves a spot in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that nobody talks about. Like, unsung hero of cream shadows, for sure, for me anyways. So if you're looking for a good cream shadow, definitely check out H&M because they do some lovely things. ColourPop Super Shocks, I think everybody already knew about. But yeah, I love combining them, and definitely check out some K-beauty brands or J-beauty brands on YesStyle in case you're looking for things like the Holika Holika one. I believe the Holika Holika one is no longer for sale, sadly. It's been discontinued from what I can tell, but I know Etude House does a very similar concept as well. It's very, very pretty, and if you want iridescent sparkle without glitter, definitely check out those kind of like Asian beauty brands because they're filled with these kind of potted creamy shadows that dry down like a powder and that just work really, really well. So I can't rave about these products enough. And now it's time to select some eyeshadow for June. Alrighty, so welcome to the floor. I know that I want to make myself a palette with some of the multichromes that I swatched for you in May. So in case you haven't watched that video, I swatched out all the shades in this palette for you in May. And this month in June, I'm not sure if this is up yet or whether I'm still going to post it, but I also will be swatching this one out. This is my Fun Shimmer palette. So I think we're just gonna go with like one taupey matte for the crease and then just have some fun shimmery shades. So I know exactly which ones I want, but now the question is, do I still remember which ones they are in here? So let me find them. So first I would like to put in Opulent. I'll be swatching these out for you next month when I go over the looks that I did with this palette. So I'm going to put that one in. It's by Clionadh. It's a multichrome. And I know that I would like to use Grizzle as well from Clionadh. And just for some added sparkle, I'm also going to select Gloaming. That's not going to fit. Oh. I'm going to put that one here. And I want to use another one of these Topshop shades and go in with Luxe. And I want to put in this big guy. This is Unexpected from JD Glow. And I hope that right here, or maybe, wait, I should do it like this. Hold on. Sticking my nail in that JD Glow shadow. Hold on. I should do it like this. That will create some more space, I'm sure. And I hope I can put like one round shadow in to sort of complete it. And now the question is, what sort of neutrally shade would I like to select that can go with everything? This is my blue, green, purple palette, so I don't think that's gonna work. I don't want another shimmer, so it's definitely going to be one of these like mattes from MAC and Makeup Geek, one of these Sydney Grace ones. I have my ColourPop palettes here as well. I think maybe a ColourPop shade. Ooh, I think this may be good. So let me see what I want to do here. And then I have my Inglot shadows here too. Ooh, I'm sticking that lid in there. But nothing here really stands out to me as something I need to use. So I'm thinking this guy here, that looks like a nice neutrally taupey kind of shade. So let me see what it's called. This is called Take the Lead, so let me swatch it. It's got a bit of a satiny sort of finish. That is pretty, but it may be just a touch too light for what I want. But I've already put this one in a previous palette. This is Concrete Road from Sydney Grace. Oh, that's lighter actually. Hadn't expected that. Like, if you put these side by side, you'd expect the Sydney Gray shadow to perhaps be a little bit darker actually. Okay, so then the ColourPop is still the better option. And then here, I know Blackberry is pretty, but it doesn't do enough perhaps. This is Corduroy from MAC. It's like it's more brown though. Ooh. That's the kind of shade I want though. So we're gonna select MAC's Corduroy. Ooh, that's a perfect fit. Now MAC shadows aren't fully magnetic, so it doesn't really fit in here very well. Could I fit another one in? I don't think so. I think the JD Glow shadow is just a little bit too big, but maybe something here in the corner. No, that won't fit. So, and I don't want to like destroy any of these shades either. So that we're gonna have to save for a rainy day. But yeah, I'm gonna be swatching all of those soon as well. But yeah, I think this little 6-pan is going to be fun. So just one matte, just to be able to have something in the crease, and then some fun multi-chromes that I can top over this or to play around with. And I'm going to keep Ritz in here because in June, I'm actually remodeling both my kitchen and my bathroom. So I probably won't be able to do my makeup much at all. So that means that it's perhaps good to have a cream on hand, just to be on the safe side. So this is it. Thank you so very much for watching today's video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more by me. I typically make several videos a week, so I hope you'd like to stay tuned for more, and I hope to see you in my next video, everybody. Bye-bye!